I'm joined by Kyle Balgames. Welcome, Kyle.
How are you?
Raja Suleiman with Orzhov.
Max McVitie.
Congratulations, Brian DeMars.
Zach Allen. I wouldn't be here without these guys, though. So.
And the champion of Proto Counter-Attack here, Rielles.
Alright, welcome everybody to another episode of Making Magic Happen, brought to you by RW Hives and Games in Livonia, Michigan. I'm Zach, today joined by my teammate,
Raja.
And we're playing more standard for everybody. The rotation happens on Arena Thursday of this week, which I believe is like the 17th or something.
That sounds right.
I don't know if that's the right date, but it is Thursday of this week.
It is 17th.
So we're going to keep testing stuff, going to keep tuning the decks we think are going to be pretty good. I'm again working on cycling. We played it in the last video against Warriors. I wanted to try it against a different deck, see if it fares better there. I do still think this is going to be the best budget deck on Arena, and probably in normal standard as well. It's just a very cheap deck, very easy to build with limited wildcards, so I really like it from that perspective. Playing the same core still. Flourishing Fox is really good with cyclers. Draenei Stinger, every time I cycle, pings you, so a good way to deal damage. Draenei Healer is a good way to stay alive. Valiant Rescuer is a really good way to generate a really big board presence by just drawing cards. And Reality Everwise is the way this deck stays just full of gas. When I get into play, I can just keep cycling stuff and drawing 2 cards every turn, and then I just keep 7 cards in hand. I just never flood out or run out of stuff to do, essentially.
Gotcha.
She does combo with Footfall Crater, which is in the deck just to be a cycler, but I can put it on a land and then give Rielle haste and trample, so can kind of work like a fireball where, if I put a bunch of instants and sorceries in my graveyard with Rielle, I can hit you for 10 or something out of nowhere. The main reason to play this deck is Zenith Flare. Zenith Flare was kind of heinous in the draft format it was in, just an incredibly powerful card. It just deals X damage to you, or any target, I guess, but mostly you. And I gain X life, where X is the number of cards with cycling in my graveyard. And all of my creatures, except Rielle, also have cycling, so you kill my creatures, I cycle stuff, the graveyard gets really full of cyclers, and then burn you out. Still have a bunch of 1-mana cyclers. I could go through them, but they're not really important. They really just say pay 1, colorless, draw a card. The big change I'm making here is I still have the 4 Raugrin Triumph to just be a 3-color land that cycles, but I'm playing more of the lands that are spell lands, I guess you'd say. Still 1 Kazul's Fury, but I've added a Shatterskull Smashing and an extra Maria's Call this time, so now I have 5 lands that are spells, which I think is going to be the big deal, because when this deck lost before, it was because it flooded, or because it didn't draw enough lands.
Yeah, it's like more so like the missing the land drops was hitting you.
Yep.
At least in our sample size.
Sure, so I could even cut the Draenei Healer from the main and play another land. I think that's totally reasonable as well. Let's do that. Let's add a Plains. Draenei Healer, you're out. We're going to go up 1 land. We still have 5 spell lands though, so put this in the sideboard or something. I don't know. What do you got here, Reza?
So I'm playing green-white ramp. Basically, the idea for this deck was built around trying to maximize Fellar Retreat, which is an enchantment from the new set. It costs 4 mana, and it says Landfall. Create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and they gain vigilance till end of turn. Which, pretty strong, especially if you can start putting a lot of lands in play. So it's kind of the operative of the deck. So we're playing 4 Cultivate and 4 Migration Path. We have Yusharn to get some more lands, and then we're playing like Fable Passage, as well as playing 32 lands between the spell lands and the regular lands. So a lot of ways to enable it. And then we have Wolfwool Haven as a way to play on turn 3 ahead of schedule. And then Realm Cloak Giant is our sweeper of choice. Doing that over Shatter the Sky just because I wanted something that can be a threat afterwards, just because the deck's a little threat light. We have ECD for our premium big stuff removal, and it's a nice way to get back Ugin, which is also probably the most important card of the deck, playing 4 copies of it. If you're making a lot of mana, this is the best thing you can be doing in Standard. There's not really a better top end in the format right now. And then because we're playing so many lands, we have to play all out of the new spell lands. So we have some Tangled Flora Hydrants, or Hedrons, excuse me, which is just kind of like more Wolfwool Havens that are forests. We have Beleged Recovery to get back our important cards, just because we have so few threats and actual spells. And then we have 4 Emir's Call, just because we can, cast it. We want more lands, but if we have a lot of lands, We can play this. We can make all our cats indestructible. Have good attackers, have good blockers. I'm playing a Turn Timber Symbiosis. There's not too many creatures in the deck, but going 7 deep actually gives you a good chance of hitting one.
Yep.
And then I have a lot of creatures in the sideboard, and you know the floor on this card is just so high that you might as well play it. And then I'm playing one Undo Inversion, just because kind of like a 5th Ugin, 8 mana, reset the board. I don't usually have too many permanents on the board. It's a nice way to undo a bad board state. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you ready to battle?
Let's do it.
Alright. Alright, Raja. Even round.
I'll take odd. Always wins. Just like right there.
Oh, oh. It's even though. It is even.
It's off the mat. Does it count if it's off the mat?
Whew. Well, I got 3 of these. That's I don't really think you want 3 of these in your opening hand. I can't really cast my threat either, but it does cycle. I've got all my colors except the color I need to cast this, but I have essentially 2 draw steps to get there, so I think this is a keep. I might get punished, but I'm gonna keep. Yeah.
Right. I want a mulligan. I do have a 2-drop, which is nice. We are playing with open deck lists here, and I'm pretty sure ECD only has like 1 hit against stack, so I don't really want the first one, let alone 2. It's all mulligan.
You can hit Rielles. It's like one of my best cards.
So I said,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
1 target.
Post board, you could hit the Iron Crag.
Good to know. Good to know.
Just let you know.
Iron Crag what?
Pyromancer.
Oh, sure. I don't think you'll bring that in this matchup. I wouldn't if I were you.
Just bring you out.
Yeah, I don't think that's very good.
Probably not. I should probably just be mulliganing to a fox if I want to beat you, but
There's a lot of ways to beat me, Zach. We don't need to go into the details for all of them. Alright. First 2 cards. Also mulligan. Alright. Let's see if 5 is nicer to us.
no, we have I set a rule when Kyle was here.
Yeah?
That if you go to 5, you go to 6 instead, and I'm just gonna cut out that one.
Okay. The fact that I had a 1-lander too, in my 32-land deck, not reasonable. I mean, I guess maybe one of the spells was a land. Might have been.
Dude, you trying to cut weight for wrestling right now?
Try what?
Cut weight for wrestling?
I feel like
You
it.
got like sweatpants on and a thing. I'm like,
I went for a bike ride and it's like 65 maybe? I don't know, it was nice weather for sweats and a light hoodie, but here at the sauna,
Yeah.
it's a little hotter.
I put the drain into my sideboard just for you.
Alright, so we're down to 6 here. And we're gonna bottom this ECD again.
Probably smart.
He keeps just following me everywhere I go.
Alright. I'm going to play a River Glide Pathway, but I'm going to play it as Lava Glide.
Oh!
Have you ever been to the Lava Glide?
Oh, I've been there many times.
I guess I'll represent Shock. Go ahead.
Alright. Here's me playing on Shock. Pretty far away from wanting this, so I'm going to play a tapped Balged Recovery and test you.
I'm going to cycle a Footfall Crater.
Alright.
Oh, sometimes you just draw the white mana right on time. Go ahead.
Nice. Must be nice to keep drawing ECD. Oh my goodness. I bottomed it, right? I'm not crazy.
Oh, are you playing 4?
I'm playing 3.
Alright,
It
well.
feels like it's 8. I will play a Pathway and play my Tangled for a Hedron.
Alright. Good.
Yep.
I have to ask myself, would Raja trade here? I think
I'm
probably.
blocking all day, dude.
I was going to say, I think you
I
probably
can't beat
would.
that card.
I'm going to play another one.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to play an island and cycle a Frostville.
Oh, do you have the
Ambush.
Cycler too?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Oh, my deck is literally 100% cyclers, so pretty good. You go.
Alright. Well, I'm going to try to stabilize the board a little bit here by playing a Yashurn. Get a Forest and a Plains. Unfortunately, I'm going to be shuffling the ECD back in, so I have a 100% chance of drawing it next turn, but sometimes you gotta just risk it. Good.
Draw. In this deck, white is more important than red. You need the first red source before the second white source, but once you already have one red, you should get a white. So I'm going to play this as Pillar Verge Pathway.
Nice.
Yep. And then I'm going to immediately tap it and cycle Gopher Blood. Draw. Get me 2 humans. It's probably worth to just get in for 1, I would guess. I'm losing 1, but I think it's fine. I'll attack for 2. Yep. Here you go.
Alright. Alright, we'll play Plains and cast a Migration Path.
Yep.
So we're going to get a third white source for Miria's Call. But we want to keep as many white sources in our deck as possible to trigger our U-Sharns. We only have 4 Plains.
What does this card do? Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. Okay.
Just in case it comes up, you know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Sure.
Good.
Alright, I'm going to cycle a Gopher Blood, get 2 more humans.
Yep.
I don't get any humans if I cycle here, but I still think it's right. I'm going to cycle this Fox. Draw. Alright. I could cycle this one. I think that one's fine on tap with, though. No. No, I'm just going to cycle this. Trying to Stinger. Okay. Draw. So, I think it's pretty likely Raj is going to try to cast Ugin. Next turn. I would really like to delay that by a turn. You're at 19.
I'm at 19.
I don't really think I have a great way of doing that, though. So what if I just force damage? That's probably going to be the best thing I can do. Alright, I'm going to play Shatter Skull Smashing as a land. Hammer's Pass, I go 17.
We're in the race.
Wait, I can pay life to play lands, right? Not activate abilities?
Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. That's not, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not an activate ability, it's an ass. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I think, given that I just have so many of these, I'm going to flare that. For 6.
Yeah. It's very promising for me.
And then bash.
Unfortunately, I have to take it all. So I take 6, 11. I'm at 8.
Okay.
How many cyclers do you have in your garbage?
6.
Okay. All set?
Yeah, here you go.
Alright. Cast this Ugin.
Okay.
No, -2.
Yep.
Good.
I'll cycle a Drat Stinger.
Okay.
You're at 8?
I'm at 8.
I'm going to cycle Boon and then Zenith Flurry for 8.
Alright. Sweet.
That game felt close.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, we're back post board. Cycling is not the type of deck where you can make drastic changes. Like, I physically could board in 15 cards, board out 15 cards, but it is actually the type of deck where it's very linear, and by shaving cyclers, you decrease the entire functionality of the deck. So if you're boarding a card in, you really want to board it, like, it needs to be good in that matchup. So you'll notice when it's the way I built it, I have like a package of like 3 or 4 cards to bring in against different archetypes, and it's just because I can't decrease the number of cyclers, and you see that when I'm trying to board here, I'm really trying to do that. I cut my Shatter Skull Smashing against Raja. It might actually be good seeing your board plan, but I don't know what's in your board now, so it's just like, it's pretty unlikely I can kill the bigger green creatures anyway. I can maybe get the Tangled Floor Hedron, but like, it was going to be so hard to kill that 4-mana 4/4 that you can like cast on turn 3. I don't think it's very effective there. It is a land, but it's the 21st land, so I think it's a fine cut. I'm cutting 2 Valiant Rescuers. Your deck is an Ugin deck. which it was okay there, but I was on the play. On the draw, it's going to be really easy for you to get to a sweeper and just get rid of all the tokens, and then it doesn't have any lasting advantage after the first sweeper. Whereas, like, Draenus Stinger actually just deals 1 damage to you every time I cycle, which is going to be better with my burn you out with Zenith Flare plan.
Yep.
Cutting a Footfall Crater because, again, it can get hit by some of your sweepers, but also it's the worst cycler in the deck because it doesn't pump Rielle. And I'm bringing in 2 Concerted Defense and 2 Negates. I just want to stop your big spells, your huge payoffs. Concerted Defense is 1 mana. It says counter target non-creature spell unless his controller pays 1 plus an additional 1 for each creature in your party. My deck can only have a party of Wizard. It's the only creature type in there.
Is it Rielle?
Rielle and Draenus Stinger are both Wizards.
Oh, cool.
I actually have Cleric in my sideboard. I could board in Draenus Healer and have Cleric.
Isn't the Fox a rogue?
I wish the Fox was a rogue. It should be. Why Foxes rogues? But anyway, it's basically Spell Pierce. I'm playing Spell Pierce, and it's good because I can pass with 1 mana up. Basically look like I'm just going to cycle, and then it also makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, I would pass with Rielle, like maybe draw 1 off Rielle, pass with 1 up because I want to cycle in your turn, and I can hit you with a like a Spell Pierce, which is just pretty good.
Yeah. In this matchup, you're going to want to do it early because it's probably not going to be live very much later on.
Yeah.
Unless you're like taking Ugin on exact mana, but
Sure. I mean, and I agree, it could definitely be bad, but you know, hitting an early ramp spell can be really nice. Like if I hit a Cultivator or a Migration Path, it can just slow you down just enough for me to burn you out.
it's true.
Then I have 2 Negates again. These look like they're going to be bad against like Gargaroth and Skoos that I see you're boarding in, but they are really good against your sweepers, your ramp spells, and I really need to hit those Elspeth Conqueror's Deaths before they get rid of my Rielle, yeah.
Alright, so over here, we're bringing in, as Zach mentioned, this package of green creatures that I've been basically building all my green sideboards with just because, like, they're so good against aggro decks that you can't go wrong. Scavenging Ooze, Elder Gargaroth, cards that see play in multiple formats.
I mean, you're not wrong. These cards are staples in Modern at this point.
Exactly. So, really good cards. There's a chance, like, even Gargaroth might have been a main deck inclusion if I wanted it to be. We saw how good ECD was last match, but this is the 5-drop I went with. Maybe it should have been this. But I'm boarding this out because it doesn't have very good targets. I'm boarding out 2 of the Ugins just because we have other sweepers in the deck, and playing 4 Ugins just seems like a lot against a deck that doesn't really go that big. It goes early and aggressive and then kills me with Zenith Flare. And then because we're kind of lowering the curve, I'm boarding out the migration paths. I didn't want to board out the other 4 drops because they create board presence, whether it be the 4-mana 4/4 that gets a Forest in the Plains or the Felidar Retreat. So I went with this one. I wanted to keep the Cultivates in there because it lets me curve into an Elder Gargaroth. Then we're bringing in Shadow Disguise to increase our super count, and then Glass Caskets to attack an early creature, whether it be the Fox or like a Rielle later in the game.
Stinger too. Getting the Stinger off the board.
Sure.
Yeah.
All your creatures are worthy of killing. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I board out the Undo version, just kind of like I said, it's kind of like an Ugin. So. Yeah.
Sure. All right, let's battle.
Alright, this looks like a mulligan. This is essentially 6 lands plus a sweeper, which it's not going to get there. None of my lands are really spells except for this one, which is a 7-drop, so a mulligan.
I think my hand's a keep. It's really slow, but I'm on the draw, and I kind of have to take a slower approach anyway. Like, you know, post-board on the draw with cycling, if I mulligan into a hand that has Fox, it's totally reasonable that you could just, you know, I go turn 1 Fox, just go turn 2 Glass Casket, and I mulligan down looking for it. And this does have the plan we want to be on, which is this and this, to kind of make these better. So I think this is a keep. Could certainly punish me, but I think it's a keep.
Okay, the 7's much better. I think we'll bottom this. Yeah, I think we'll bottom this because we have other things to do. And then I will play the Field Passage. Good.
I'm going to play a Raugrin Triumph. Here you go.
Go ahead and grab a Forest. And then I will play a Branch Loft Pathway as a Border Loft Pathway.
Classic Blanchloft pathway.
The Blanche. I love that Blanche. And then I will play a Wolfwool Haven. Good.
Play Needle Verge Pathways red and pass.
Alright, like a land here. We did not get a land, so we're going to have to play a Cultivate to get our lands.
Hold on, buddy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You have counter spells.
I'm going to consider defensive.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Really bad not having a land there. Go ahead. So I made fun of that card too.
Get Force Spike. You'll love to see it. Cycle of Frostveil Ambush.
Yep.
I'm going to play Adrenaline Stinger and pass. Would have loved to hit a land there. I didn't. I could have cycled towards it, but I think this is still fine.
Alright, I'm gonna play Mirror's Call untapped as Emiria.
Dude, you're so lucky you drew a land.
Skyclave. I know, I'm the luckiest. And then we're gonna play the Yashurin.
Ooh, Yashurin. Alright.
Get a forest, get a plains, and pass the
That card's nice.
Yeah, it's real nice.
So I could do this here. I don't really think I'm supposed to. It does start kind of playing the sweepers. It kind of doesn't get the value I want it to. I'm just going to play a plains. I'm going to pass to you.
We'll play a Feldar Retreat.
Okay.
Combat?
Yep.
Deck 4.
16.
I'll play this forest that we know about, get a cat, and pass to you.
Right, I'm going to cycle Startling Development.
Do you ever pull cats? Do you have anything over here that can be a cat?
No.
Alright. I'm going to use some...
You take one.
something.
You had them for your jewelry, yeah.
I'm going to use goats because I'm the goat.
Alright, fine. So you took one off the cycle.
Did you mark it already?
I marked it already, yep.
Alright.
Cycle Boon of the Wish Giver, you take one again.
15.
And cycle Go for Blood, you take one again.
14. So I can feel what Zach's going to try to do to win this game here already. We'll try our best to make it not happen, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
So I really want to hit a land here. I'm going to start by cycling a Boon. Take one. Alright, still not hitting a land. Let's go for Blood.
12.
Alright, we did hit a land. Play Mountain. This thing's a 2/2, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna pass.
I'm going to play a Class Casket.
I'll respond to it. I'm gonna cycle a Fox. I think it's a little late for Mr. Foxy here. And then I'll cycle a Go for Blood. Okay.
Oh, sorry, did I take one more?
Yep,
About
should be 10.
And then I'm going to play a Plains and put a counter on both my guys. And attack you for 8.
Ready?
And I'll play another Wolf of Woolhaven. Good.
Sure.
Really would like to see a ramp spell there. We did trim down on some of them, so it's understandable that we didn't draw one, but...
So you're at 10?
I'm at 10.
I can do 9 right now. I may or may not have the Zenith Flare though, don't worry.
Maybe. You might.
Play a land. So I think the best thing I can do here is I want to try to not die this turn. So I'm gonna play a Valiant Rescuer.
Okay.
And then immediately cycle a Boon of the Wishgiver.
Oh, yeah.
Get this thing. Booming. And then it's your go.
It's really funny. I'll attack.
Before blocks, I'm gonna cycle the Boon of the Wishgiver.
Okay.
Get another guy, and then I'll put a human in front of each.
Sure. I'm gonna cast a share this guy, because I think I need to try to hit a Scavenging Ooze to not die here. That's not it. I'll play a Wolfwool Haven on my forest.
Yep.
Go.
I'm gonna cycle Draenei Stinger into turn.
Yep.
So you just have green mana up essentially?
Would it matter if I had white?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's instant speed stuff. It'd matter if you had black because of the...
Well, we're playing with open deck list, so I don't think you have to play around anything. Not that there's much to play around.
Oh, Zenith 3. It's 12.
Yeah, I wanted the lands I kept drawing Wolfwool Havens back-to-back turns, which is kind of rough, but
That's
I
fair.
don't think the lands would have made enough of a difference.
It feels like you really need Graveyard Hate to have a shot there.
Or life gain, or just like a faster draw. The
I
fact
was-
that I kept a 2-lander with a Wolfwool and a Cultivate, and
Sure.
then missed, and then you actually had the interaction, which was good on your end.
Yep.
Alright, I'm hoping to see a 7 that I can keep with some good sideboard cards. Let's do it. This hand is acceptable. I'll keep.
My hand's like... I think it's a keep. It's got a bunch of tap lands and is slow. I still think it's supposed to be a
But the
keep,
2
though.
Zenith Flares are going to make it a keep.
Yeah. Zenith Flare's gonna be really good.
Good.
Robber, and you go.
Play a Pathway, make it white. And play a Wolfwool Haven. Good.
You play a Fox, and then play a Kazul's Fury as the tap side. You go. It's Kazul's Cliff. Raja, how have you felt about the tap lands so far? The mythic ones, I think, are all just amazing. You just
Yeah.
play them.
I think they're all broken. I really can't say because I haven't played too much with the regular tap lands. This is like one of the first decks I played with them, so.
I was gonna say, I've been really impressed by Balagad Recovery, and all the other ones have just been...
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought when we first saw the spoilers. I think my Protect My Life total is just so important in this matchup that I just need to like get this thing off the board immediately. So I'll just do that.
Gasketed.
Go ahead.
Alright, I'm gonna play another Fox, and then immediately cycle an Ambush. Draw a
So there's
card.
Zach's fishing for lands.
We missed our land drop and passed you.
Alright. Oh, that's a nice one. Let's play that.
Oh no.
Let's
You have a
play
land too? Oh,
lands.
yikes.
So we're gonna get ourselves a goat. Go ahead.
Cycle Footfall Crater, although that might actually be one I should have kept. This will go to 2. Can we draw a land? Cycle Boon of the Wishgiver. Drop. No land still. Take you for 4.
16.
Go ahead. Interesting you're not blocking there. I guess you're trying to get aggressive.
I think I want
Find
to.
out.
Oh wow. That's interesting. Alright. I'm gonna play a Cultivate.
Yep.
So just get 2 planes here. So one's gonna come to play, one's gonna go to my hand. Or sorry, one's gonna go to my hand, one's gonna come to play tapped. And then I'm gonna play this one from hand. So I'm gonna get trigger for goat.
Goated. Do they have vigilance?
I'm actually just gonna use these guys. I think it's a little more easy. It gets vigilance when I put a counter on, when I do the second go.
Until end of turn? Yeah.
So I already had
that's what
one
I thought.
play. I'm gonna get one. I think I'm gonna get one more. And then on the, so that's 2 triggers. I'm gonna play another cultivate.
Jeez.
This is when I get both 2 forests.
Going off.
And then with this trigger, I think I'm gonna put counters on. Although I'm gonna be chump blocking for sure next turn, but they're gonna be 3/3s. So I might not have a good attack. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put counters this time. And attack for 3.
Yep, I'm at 17.
Good. So 1 tapped, 1 in my hand.
Cycle Frostveil ambush. Alright, I'm gonna go to 14. Get Ameria. Finally hit that land. I think I need to play defensive here, which sucks, but attacking doesn't really do that much. It just trades with 2 of your guys.
If you put 2 more counter,
I mean, I
counter
can-
on it. Obviously, I'm sure you can, but
Well, even if I like get it up to 7, you still just triple block and then
yeah,
it
it's
just
only
trades with
trade
2
with
of
2
them.
guys. Yeah. I'm saying you can only get the 2 guys if you cycle again.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna cycle Frostveil. It goes up to 5. Here you go.
So this is gonna be a pretty cool turn. I'm gonna play Mirius Call. So I'm gonna get 2 angels.
There you go. 1.
Just the 1. You got. Is your fox a party member? I don't think so. I don't think that fox likes to party too much.
Just you don't want to pay 8 for it.
No, I think I'll play 7. And then once this resolves, because I know it does, I'm gonna go ahead and play a forest and put counters on everybody.
Oh, glad I stayed back. Kind of wish I had traded now though.
Yeah, you should. Now it's worse for you.
Yeah.
And I'll just attack.
I'll block 1.
Alright, you
Take
take
8. Go to 6.
Go ahead.
All right, we need to win here, I guess. Still on your turn.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna cycle and go for blood.
Alright.
That's gonna really help next turn. Oh, you got a counter.
So I think at this point, even if you had like a Zenith Flare for one of my creatures, I think I'd just still kill you because I have another creature in play too. So like, I'm not sure what Zek's out here is.
I don't know what my out is either. My Zenith Flare's like not even that big. It's for 6 because I was missing early land drops.
Yep.
You have to pay life to do it. And all your creatures are indestructible until next turn, right? So attack is just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm dead here. If I pass, I'm just dead on board. And I can pay 3 to cast the Zenith Flare, but it's going to kill me. Pretty brutal watching that happen with 2 considered defenses and a negate in your hand now.
I thought about that too when I untapped him. He only has 1 mana up, and this thing isn't a party member, so I'm perfectly fine here.
Yeah. Yeah, the tap land draw into missing land drop was just too slow. And this deck, I mean, unchecked, this is a really powerful card.
Yeah, I think our card's sweet.
Yep.
So
And the way you've built this deck, too, just, like, turbos this card. It just makes it, I mean, you cast it on turn 3, and I died 2 turns later. Or 3 turns later, I guess, but...
yeah, no, it did a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, and I never even saw like a failed passage, which would have made it just do even more.
Yeah, it would be even more insane, sure.
Yeah. So
Alright, so overall, how do you feel about this matchup?
I feel like this match was very rough.
Sure.
I think just if you didn't have Zenith Flare, which obviously like the deck is built around it, but like let's just say you were just like this deck that benefited from cycling because you had Fox, Grand Stinger, and Dron or Rielles is her name?
Yeah,
Rielle. I think it would be completely fine because I think I can really break your combat.
Yep.
I can use sweepers, I can use Ugin, I can use targeted removal out of the sideboard, and just like random blockers to just break you all day. Even the Draft Stinger,
Sure.
I can fight through eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
But like having a deck of burn spell that deals literally, would you deal 11 damage last game? 12 damage
12
with 1?
damage or something, yeah.
Yeah, in the first game you dealt like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Sure.
It's just like, it's impossible for my deck to be, I need to find like a Scavenging Ooze or be like gaining life before you can start establishing your cycling.
Sure.
So,
I mean, I agree with you. I think that assessment is spot on. I do think what your deck is doing is very good, though. Like, if the format is very creature-oriented, this feels like the type of deck that can just dominate a creature-oriented format. I mean, Ugin is really brutal against those decks. You have a bunch of really good green sideboard cards. You use mana. I mean, you make a lot of mana, and you use it well by using the spell lands, which is really impressive.
Yep.
This card's really powerful. I mean, people have talked about it. No one's really found a home that I've seen in lists yet, but I think this is a really good home for something like this. It by itself just generated so much power. I mean, it just put a ton of bodies and a ton of power on the board, and it was just, like, while you're doing stuff you're already doing anyway.
Yeah, no, I think this card, like, if you want to be playing it, there's going to be homes for it that aren't green, but I think green's going to be the best place to do it. Like, between Migration Path and Cultivate, you're happy to be playing it there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it does feel like it fits with this Ugin strategy where you can kind of, like, I mean, Ugin does wipe all this stuff away, right? But you can also just play in plus Ugin.
Right.
So it feels to me like it fits there, and this whole deck feels really good. I think if this was like a really important matchup, like if cycling got really big, you should just be playing more Graveyard Hate in your sideboard.
Yeah, I could play like Soul Guide Lantern or more Scavenging Oozes. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely counterplay. Green-white just doesn't have the best tools sometimes to fight things that are a little more abstract, that are like obvious, like board stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little tricky, but yeah, I think it's definitely like a core we can look at if the metagame develops, like you said.
Sure.
We see it be like creature-centric, or even like I think this deck is probably holds its own against Uro decks.
Sure.
I think answering Uro is trivial when you're playing 4 Ugins and 3 ECDs.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I don't know. Definitely something I want to try against other matchups, but this one not so good.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, it might just be that you are just playing more like. Obviously, we just kind of build the sideboards how we think a good sideboard would look. We can't tune them for a metagame that doesn't exist yet, so kind of tough to be there. But it doesn't seem unreasonable to me at all to just play a few more Graveyard Hate cards. That could definitely be a place you want to go with the metagame, especially if, you know, Agadeem's Awakening becomes a really popular card in the format, which, for the record, is the black flip land that I think is one of the better cards in the format. We haven't tested it yet, but that card's very, very good.
I think it might be one of the best cards in the set.
I would agree with you on that. I think that I don't know if it's the best, but I would definitely say it's in the top 5
for sure.
And yeah, I mean, if that card is as good as it is, you know, having a few more Scavenging Oozes in your sideboard makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, so like I'm happy to play more Scavenging Oozes. The reason why I decided to go with 2 for the sideboard was because some of my removal spells are exile based.
Sure.
Between Ugin, ECD, Glass Casket.
Sure.
So I'm not going to be putting creatures in your graveyard very quickly.
Sure.
But if there is a format where a lot of the decks are already putting those creatures in their own graveyards because of those recursive abilities, I think Scavenging Ooze gets a lot better.
Sure, I would agree with that. And Scavenging Ooze is a great card. I could also just see 2 Soul Guide Lanterns just because, you know, if you draw them at a spot where you've already exiled stuff and it's not that good, you can at least cycle it away and go find another card.
For sure.
So yeah, just places to go. But this, like, even though I did win 2 games, that game was really impressive. That game right there, you just crushed me. I stumbled for 1 turn and then boom, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Out of your ramp control deck.
Right.
Which is impressive, right? So I think there's something there. My deck still feels good. I need to work on this mana base. This Kazul's Cliff might be getting the boot. Yeah. Already having the tap Triomes is kind of rough. I do think the Triomes are good, though, just because they're 3 colors and they cycle, so they kind of have synergy, but this card might be getting shipped.
Yeah, I built the red-white Paul Blade deck, Paul Blade Warriors deck for last week.
Yep.
And I didn't play any of those the lands that come to play tapped.
Sure.
I played the Amiri's Call, I played the Shatter Skull Smashing, but when I'm playing a deck that's playing early creatures and like using its mana intensively, I don't want to waste my time with any of those tap lands right now.
Sure.
Unless I find that we find that some of them are just like so good in those decks that it's almost like you want the spell more, and then like the land sometimes, then I think it's fine. But like when it's like gonna be a land, you know, more than half of the time, I don't want it to be a tap land in an aggro deck.
Sure, and I agree with you. This seems cute because I can make really big Foxes, fling them at you, really big Rielles, fling them at you, and it kind of feels like the 5th Zenith Flare. So like, in my mind, it feels like maybe I'll be casting it, but the more I've played this deck, it really just feels like it's a tap land 80% of the time, 90% of the time.
Which I think makes it just not something you want to be playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just very, like, you just see how mana intensive this deck is. It's an aggro deck, and I'm only playing 21 lands, but I want to be using every single mana every single turn. And I think 4 Triumph tap lands is just the max I can go. So I'm probably cutting this. I might just add another basic. Honestly, basics feel pretty good in this deck.
Yeah.
I could see another mountain, another plains. The Shatter Skull Smashing, I don't know. That card feels a little mana intensive for this deck. I don't hate it, though. It is a nice way to clean up 2 creatures, so we'll see where that goes. But anyway, remember, guys, if you like these videos we're making, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, leaving comments, all that really helps. We're going to keep making these until this comes out on Arena, and then you'll probably start seeing a lot more Arena videos of, you know, me playing on ladder, be talking to Raja about what we're seeing in Standard, all of that stuff.
And our paper content will probably return to like more so Modern Pioneer.
Probably. Although we might, you know, when the set actually comes out, we might play some paper Standard when we can actually get the cards.
True.
So we'll see where this goes. But, you know, with that, we'll talk to you guys next time.
See you guys.